right, hi Christy. We are in Medfield, Massachusetts. This is a little pond. It's beautiful. Right now it is got a thin layer of ice over it, and you can see the kids play hockey out here when it's thick enough. It's always interesting to me because we see people out here playing on ice when it looks way too thin. And you always hear of people falling through the ice, but I don't know. I've never been brave enough to walk out on a pond unless it's been really, really cold for a long time. So anyway, it's fun to see the kids come out here and learn hockey. But we're at one of my favorite little spiritual spots. And I'll bring you back here in the spring when it's beautiful, and then the fall is just amazing. It's a little mill. You can see the roads right there, but it kind of doesn't really, you can go back in here and not feel like it is. So you see me take pictures. Again, this is a very spiritual place for me. I've done a lot of shadow work here, and there are some chairs. Looks like they pulled them up maybe for the winter. But there's usually two big chairs sitting over there, and you can sit there. There's the mill. We can go look. It's called the Kingsbury Gristmill. They've preserved it, thankfully. So you can see on one side, here's running water. You've got the water going through that underneath, whatever that, I don't know what it's called, that little dock. Oh, there, we got chairs. There's more. This is beautiful. Here we go, we're giving her the spins again. I love this. Look at, they took a piece of wood that had been fallen and made a bench. And there we've got the shingled moss. That's what we're calling it right now. Which, I don't know, maybe that's the right name. It sure does sound like a good name for it, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, I gotta get my finger out of the way. Sorry about that. Walking down the stairs. Here we go, see? Old stone steps. But I actually had the most bizarre experience the first summer of my awakening. When everything upended, I'd lost my job, and I was nearly chased out of AA with a pitchfork when I started talking about having a spiritual experience. And I kind of lost everybody at that point. I decided to spend the rest of the summer, let's just stand here as I talk. Ew, that's not pleasant to hear. That truck in the background, nice little brook. So let's give you a nice little view. I spent the summer, I was in the middle of spiritual awakening, and I wasn't gonna sit around the house and mope. So I got out here in the woods and decided I was gonna go out and just clean up trash and go hiking. And that's, I started cleaning the stones. The beach stones, you see, they don't need washing, but I realized that when you come to some of these places, the little rivers, they're just disgusting. And I was so in love with stones, and I came and I decided to take some from this area and take them home, clean them up, bring them back, and put some good energy into them. And I came down here to bring them back, and at this point it was so different. Like, there was so much more water, but you can actually, let's see, I'm going to take you down here, because see how nasty they are? I wanted to take them home and give them new life, and I did that several times. And I walked down here one day with my bag of rocks to put in the clean river, or stream, excuse me. And I set them down here. There were a ton of them, but it looks like, I mean, I don't know if those are still the ones, probably not. But anyway, and there was let's see, let me step out here. Right in between here, there is a little gap. And there was this yellow and black snake with its head sticking out, just watching me. And normally I would have been like freaking out because not knowing what kind of snake it was. I'm not a huge fan, but I don't hate snakes. I've raised boys and I have caught snakes and all kinds of stuff. So, but at any rate, I'm just not one to go out in the wild and start messing with snakes. There was a connection made, and I can't explain it. It was that energetic, vibrational, just like with the trees and the stones. And there was just this eye lock, I felt like, with this snake. And again, I don't know how long I was standing there, but I could feel through this experience. And yellow was a huge color for me, I consider it my color. I don't know what, and the fact that he was yellow, it was just, everything was so synchronistic, and it just felt like all of nature was just sitting there saying thank you. Just doing a little bit of cleanup. So this is a fun little bridge, and you walk back in here. It's nice to come here when you don't have a whole lot of cars running around. This is a big highway for trucks, and not trucks but work trucks, and the going out to Dover. A lot of big homes out there. Oh, this chair used to be sitting over there. Looks like they keep this place up, so it looks like they're probably gonna let it sit there and have its own experience with nature. We'll find out. I love the way these vines twist. Isn't that gorgeous? Like a rope. Okay, so again, back in the summertime or in the spring, fall, it's just covered in all kinds of greenery, and there's some berries. I don't know if you can see them. I don't think I'll eat them this time. Just kidding. Okay, so there's some more. I love to, I see in the winter it's fun because I come out here and you know how I love to play with the trees and the shadows and the lighting. But they're just so unique. Every tree grows and is just as unique as we are, with every storm, with every break, with every snap, twists and turns, and just like our journeys. Okay, so again, this is the Gristmill. That's interesting. It's like yes, it's just, these vines are wrapped around. Oh, there's some beautiful wood back here. Go back and see. This house is back there. I don't want to go too far. Oh, she. Oh, look at that. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Isn't she pretty? So the sun keeps peeking out. So I thought I'd come down here today and show you one of my little spots. I'm so grateful that to live in an area that has so many areas that I can go to and be at one with nature. Here we got our stone, our big. Oh, God, look at those angles, those sharp angles. Alright. Oh, there are the chairs. Another set. I keep moving them. They have a little memorial up here for veterans, which is much more pleasant than the one they have that I mentioned in another video. We won't go there. In the center right here, my father has a Purple Heart, and while I do not support, I have to be careful the way I word this, war and military in general, the men who have gone and given their lives, and not just given their lives in the sense that they died thinking they were protecting us, not understanding like the rest of us. I used to believe it. But the ones that come home and are so scarred and hurting because of what they were forced to do. So I understand and do take that very seriously, because it's intention, and I certainly was. I saw what it did to my own father, and you know how it changed him. I mean, I wasn't young enough or old enough, I wasn't even born, but over the years of therapy and just trying to figure out our relationship, you can see the patterns of you know, the filters and the things that we're, you know, forced to endure in a society that doesn't understand physics, and as Cryan would say, you know, very appropriate in an old energy, but definitely not in a new energy. So here's to world peace, and here's to not having or to awakening men who no longer feel like they need to go kill people to protect their family and loved ones, that it's not their sense of duty. This is really interesting. Yeah, I just sit here and explore this stuff, and it's just like looking, going from one art gallery to another. So there we are. What kind of wildlife have I seen out here? Mostly a lot of birds. We get the egrets and the great herons, and you don't typically see them in this pond. You see them in the area, but they tend to go to the marshier areas. I'm going to take you to another sacred spot. Not sure if I'll do it today, but where I had my first bald eagle encounter in since 1971, when I was born. I'm not going to say my age anymore, because I want my body to regenerate. And look at that. Isn't that pretty? Hi, sweetheart. Oh, God, she reminds me of an elephant. Look at her. See that? Doesn't that remind you of an elephant? I have not noticed her before, but that may be because, look at this, she's got a crack. She's kicking and alive. This is what trees do. They grow and then they come down in storms and then they regrow and rebirth. Rebirth. I was thinking of roots and birth at the same time, so we just made up a new word. Root birth. But she's got strong roots. Look. God, doesn't she just... The angles of everything. She just... Ooh, that even... Look at that. Does that look like a face or what? Let's see. As you move the angles, this is what I do a lot. Especially if I can get a really cool angle and go home and play with lighting, and you guys find the dragons or whatever in the... Okay, so I'll probably take a picture of a sign later. That's all the way up by the road, and we're in such a peaceful place that I don't want to walk you back up there so that you know about it.